It is back to school season all over the national territory as 5 million young Cameroonians have answered the call of education all over the national territory. We will be telling you about the affluence here in the littoral region, as well as Cameroon's trouble-hit northwest and southwest regions of the nation. Plus, in this newscast, we shall also be bringing to you 12 billion CFA francs, which is the amount of non-tax revenue which has gone missing from the state budget. Peter Nsosier will shine the spotlight on this loophole. And in sports, the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon have had their second post-COVID training today in Yaoundé as the coach programs their minds for the trophy in January. And those are top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining this 6 p.m. newscast on Spectrum Television. I am Josephine Bindzi. As announced in the headlines, we talk back to school over to the northwest and southwest regions of the country. The bells of the new school season is ringing in some parts of the southwest region and some areas in the northwest region, notably in Kambe, in the Ndonga Mantung division. The school year has been launched in the context of ghost towns, which has characterized these two regions for the past 3 years. Though a fair appearance of students could be noticed in the back to school, some are enthusiastic that the effective resumption of schools this year is possible. And we come over to the littoral region where the scrupulous respect for barrier measures like wearing of face masks, washing of hands, amongst other COVID-19 barrier measures could be noticeable on campuses in the campus of government's bilingual high school Dedo as school resumed classes for the 2020-2021 academic year. Catherine Kone has details.
To ensure equitable, inclusive and quality education in a COVID-19 resilient school year, government's bilingual high school Daido kick-started the resumption day today, Monday, with a strict respect of barrier measures.
This school year is too particular with the COVID-19. That's why we started late. We have taken here at our level all the disposition given by the hierarchy. If you can see by yourself, you see all the wash hand basin and the soap. All our students are wearing the mask. We have respecting the distanciation of 50 per class, and we think with all of this we will be out of the sickness, and at the end of it all we will have good results. Because
for a smooth and free coronavirus school year, the school principal added they are set for the two-shift system of teaching.
We're going to do the two-shift system. The first cycle will be schooling in the morning from 7:30 to 12, and from 12:30 to 5 the second cycle will come. And we have made our timetable in such a way that a teacher cannot be in school from morning to the evening because it will be tiring.
The joy of reuniting with friends and new classmates after staying apart for some months could be visible on the faces of these students.
Yes, everything is perfect, nice. The school is still the same. Nothing has changed. Everything is still beautiful. We think that her lessons were very good. Cleanliness is good. Discipline leads to success. When you are disciplined, you can learn more and be successful.
School resumption in the entire nation today comes at a time when the country still sails through troubled waters of COVID-19 global health crisis.
And let's now talk about back to school, which is not possible for students who couldn't begin the school year today. The difficult financial season witnessed by parents as a result of the COVID-19 has not permitted some children to resume schools today rather than on Wednesday. They are, however, doing everything they can for their children to begin classes as soon as possible. John Paul Sama with details.
It's day one of back to school and some parents are still busy trying to get textbooks and other materials for their children. No, because I hadn't received the money that I got today. I will start buying her things now. Unfortunately, my child didn't begin today, but that notwithstanding, I'm hoping to send her to school by Wednesday. As you can see, I'm currently buying her things. It's rather unfortunate because when you are going to Form 1 like it is with her case, it's very exciting on day 1. But for this year, she will have to wait a little. This delay in some households is accredited to the hard financial times witnessed as a result of the COVID-19. The problem is, like we all know, it's difficult times now, so it wasn't moving, but now the textbook lists are finally out. I'm getting the basic things she is going to need to begin. Nevertheless, it is better late than never. Hopefully, she will resume school this Tuesday. Even at tailors' workshops, they are still busy carrying out final touches on some school uniforms.
Let's talk the back-to-school season in the primary sector. The 2020-2021 school year effectively kick-started today in the economic capital of Cameroon, with some primary schools keen to respect the barrier measures while others still struggling to meet up with these exigencies. Christelle Asek-Swele has details.
It is clearly mentioned on the board, all pupils are entitled to wash their hands with soap and water and wear their face mask. Only, the wash hand station bucket is well placed in front of the classroom with no soap to wash. This is the situation at this primary school based in Douala on this first day of school's resumption. Even the respect of social distancing between the pupils and the teachers.
It's okay. Hello, children. Hello.
In this other classroom, it's an empty class that welcomes the teacher. In another establishment in Douala, it's a complete different atmosphere. The school is keen on the respect of all COVID-19 barrier measures in the start of the school year. The systematic washing of hands and a complete disinfection of pupils through a disinfection cabin, the respect of distancing measures in classrooms, with each pupil seated in their various boxes to ensure an effective and hitch-free back to school within a COVID-19 context. The 2020-2021 school year kick-started today in the entire national territory at a time when the country continues to struggle to curb the spread of the coronavirus pandemic.
12 billion CFA francs is the amount of non-tax revenue which has gone missing from state treasury. This was revealed in a report of the Ministry of Finance. Peter Nsose shines a spotlight on this.
The Ministry of Finance has just published its first report of the special conferences on the budgeting of non-tax revenues which held in Yaoundé last week. It was discovered that there are significant discrepancies between the declared amounts of non-tax revenue collected by administrators and those transferred to the balance of treasury accounts, which amounted to 12 billion francs CFA. To break it down, the first half of 2020 recorded the non-payment of more than 11 billion francs CFA of administrative fees, 7 million francs CFA of income from incidental sales, 439 million francs CFA from sales of services, and 150 million francs CFA from estates. The Ministry of Finance regrets that the contribution of non-tax revenues in the financing of the state budget of Cameroon has not exceeded 4% in the last 3 years. But government is poised to change the status quo as from the 2021 fiscal year. Non-tax revenue have risen steadily within this period from 168 billion francs CFA in 2018 to 200 billion francs CFA in 2019 and about 204 billion in 2020.
The city of Limbe has won a 150 million CFA cash prize for being the cleanest city in Cameroon. The award was handed by the Minister of Urban Development and Housing on the occasion of the World Habitat Day. Peter Nsose has more.
The city of Limbe in the southwest region has won the prize for the cleanest city in the country, a competition launched by the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing. The award has been handed to the Limbe City Mayor on the sidelines of the celebration of the World Habitat Day, October 5, in Douala.
Get involved. They are happy. They were happy to compete. They were happy to fight, to have their environment clean. And I'm happy also to see that there are some promoters who have invested in this critical segment.
Having access to standard and affordable houses remains a major challenge in Cameroon, and the World Habitat Day affords the occasion for experts to reflect and come up with strategies to bridge the gap.
It's the strengths, the weakness, the opportunities of these sectors in order to organize the sectors, to make sure that people who have agreement of Mindu as a promoters, as a real estate company, they should be able to deliver houses.
The inclusion of the private sector is paramount.
The gap is more than 1.5 million, we'll say at least 2 million. So if the market is there, why people cannot contribute by constructing affordable and medium-sized houses?
The Cleanest City competition involved Limbe, Douala and Yaoundé. The winner has gone home with a cash prize of 150 million francs CFA.
Some physically disabled persons in Douala have benefited from food items and didactic materials from an association in partnership with the Ministry of Social Affairs. The donation ceremony took place at the Centre d'accueil in the Bepanda neighborhood over the weekend. Catherine Kone, in attendance, has the following details in her report.
Beverages, soap, books, bags of rice and many more are some of the items given by an association in partnership with the Ministry of Social Affairs to physically disabled persons in the city of Douala.
Well, we believe that humanity deserves the best. Growing up as a child, I grew up from a very poor background, and I believe that I can contribute, because coming out from that poor background, it took me a lot of stress, a lot of depression, and the motive is to give hope to those listening to us, to know that there is a lot of hope in them, and me, I used to be part of them, and this initiative is to make sure that we can keep giving the best to humanity.
The donation ceremony, which took place over the weekend at the Centre d'accueil in the Bepanda neighborhood, is aimed at giving the best to mankind.
It is a goodwill organization where it's globally, it's actually, we believe that humanity deserves the best. So we are gathering people globally in this community to make sure that they can receive what we have, what we are giving. And the motive is to serve one another with love and respect. We believe that any human being on earth deserves just the best. So we are calling on everybody to join us in this organization so that we can keep giving the best to mankind.
The kind gesture was highly appreciated by these people, who equally promised to use the items judiciously.
And on to this sad note, the Cameroon Bar Association is mourning as Barrister Charles Chakunte Patier passed on this Sunday, 4th of October 2020 in Le Havre, France. The Cameroonian lawyer had been evacuated a few days earlier for a health problem. Charles Chakunte Patier was appointed by his peers as a new president of the Cameroon Bar Association at the end of a stormy extraordinary General Assembly, which ended in the early hours of Sunday, November 25, 2018 in the economic capital of Cameroon, Douala. A native from there in the western region of Cameroon, and he leaves behind family members, colleagues, friends to mourn his memory. On our international page, the 3rd of November elections approach in the U.S. Many voters in the United States that allow it are already taking advantage of casting their ballots earlier than expected. In Virginia, residents got a chance to vote early starting from September 18, and indications are that turnouts are beating the records. Details with the VOA.
At the end of Tuesday's presidential debate, the two major political party candidates were asked if they would refrain from declaring victory until the election results were independently certified. Democratic candidate Joe Biden agreed.
Once the winner is declared, after all the ballots are counted, all the votes are counted, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. And if it's me, in fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome.
But President Trump equivocated and repeated unsubstantiated charges of massive fraud from mail-in votes that could undermine the election.
I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that.
However, Trump's own FBI director, Christopher Wray, has said there is no evidence of widespread mail-in voter fraud this year. Trailing in the polls, Trump has indicated his campaign will mount legal challenges to contest mail-in ballots if he does not win, challenges that could end up being decided by the Supreme Court. Meantime, the Supreme Court nomination of Judge Amy Coney Barrett to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is being pushed through the Senate by the president and his party. There is also reporting that Trump, citing voter fraud, may ask Republican-led state governments to override the popular vote in the Electoral College if Biden wins. The Trump campaign has denied these reports. In the Electoral College, established over 200 years ago, state legislatures use the outcome of the popular vote to select electors from the victorious party, who then cast the official ballots on behalf of the population of their respective states. Overriding the popular vote, analysts say, could greatly undermine public confidence in democracy itself.
And that you could see then enrage many of its citizens who had voted and anticipated that their votes would count.
The Electoral College has become increasingly controversial after declaring George W. Bush the winner of the 2000 presidential election, and then again in 2016, awarding Donald Trump the presidency, even though both lost the national popular vote. While many Democrats now advocate for abolishing the Electoral College, Republicans defend this indirect voting system because it allocates proportionally more electors to rural states.
So that means candidates have to try to appeal to a much broader, wider segment of the American populace rather than just going to the big cities and campaigning there.
This potential new Electoral College controversy over mail-in voting, analysts say, could end up producing no clear winner. In that case, the House of Representatives would be called upon to choose the next president. Brian Patton, VOA News, Washington.
And in sports, the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon have had their second post-COVID training today in Yaoundé as the coach urged them to sharpen their minds towards lifting the trophy come January. John Paul Sama tells us about the upcoming program in camp.
It is going to be a charged and intensive training session for the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon as coach Yves Clément Aroga and his boys begin camping this Monday in Yaoundé. The team is expected to play a host of friendlies between Wednesday and Tuesday as they have in sight the national team of South Sudan to play against in Yaoundé on Saturday and on Tuesday at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium. This game will add to the other international matches they played against Congo and the Democratic Republic of Congo as well as Rwanda. They will also lock horns with League One side Panthère as they sharpen their skills to host the continent come January at the African Nations Championship. Opening the training session this Monday, the head coach has enjoined the players to deliver to the best of their abilities as the soccer jamboree draws near, with their ultimate goal being to win the competition on home soil. 30 Lions make up this current squad in camp, with the final list of players to represent the country still awaited.
And thanks for watching the 6 p.m. newscast. That report ends it for us tonight. We will be back tomorrow for more information from Cameroon and around the world. Stay tuned to Spectrum Television for more interesting programs. Good night.